Well, welcome to the Verona Senior Center. We're going to do another kitchen art class. And as you can see, I raided the kitchen. Got my plastic wrap. Good thing to beat up your steak with, but also works in art. Little egg whisk. There's a cake icer. And that's for your honey. Not your honey like your hubby honey, but your honey the bees make. A spatula, a knife, any kind will do. Got a jar opener here, and I've got a popsicle stick. It was very tasty. And our little cups might even come in handy. So we're going to do two projects today, and they're kind of variations on the same general idea. Once again, we're using texture to items to create texture to make interesting pieces of art. And the first one we're going to do, we're just doing the prep today, and I'll explain why, but we will end up making little tile pieces, faux tile if you will, and what we're going to be using for that are meat trays. So just every time you get some meat, send this through the dishwasher, and we cut off the edges, and everybody's got at least a couple pieces, and these become the basis for our faux tiles. What we do at this point is just really very simple, and that is we're going to take our piece of tile and we're going to use various tools from the kitchen, and we're going to make texture. We're not actually applying paint on this, so here's my meat thing here. Okay, can you see that? And let's see, we're going to take the cake icer, and there's a little interesting design. And I've got a couple of corn picks. Now you can use the soft end and make a dot, or you can actually put little poker bits in. You can use a little pick like this for olives and drag and make marks that way. So that's what we're doing. We're making these marks. And today that's all we're going to do with this piece, because the next step I will show you is that you take these out in your backyard and you spray them with a hairspray or spray paint or something like that, and that reacts with the little marks you made, and it creates interesting textures. And you can see some differences. Here's some of these pieces. So these are what we'll actually be working on, but I wanted you to actually make your own piece so that you'll be able to do that at home. And I know these are really hard to see, but when we put paint on, they won't be.
Is it aerosol? Do you want aerosol or pump?
It does need to be aerosol, something that, like a lacquer or something like that, spray paint, anything like that. I will take what you do today and take it home and do it. It doesn't smell good. You've probably already figured that out here in this room. So we're going to do what we need to do just to create the basis, and I'll take those home for you. So what would you like? We'll pass around some of these, start with that. Okay. Okay. You can certainly take a fork. You can take a knife, any kind of a design. It's not going to stay exactly as you make it right now, because when we spray it, it's going to react with the spray and it's going to melt a little bit in different areas. Yes, there you go. Okay. Anybody want one of these? And you can just actually lay that down and push it in if you want. If some of your meat trays have a little thread of glue on them from where they put that nice little layer of paper underneath the meat, that glue is going to make an interesting part of the design too. So go ahead and make that. And then we're going to actually use our fingers. We're not using we're not gonna use brushes today. We're using acrylic paint. Acrylic paint is a little bit like Elmer's glue. It's sort of a sticky thing, and if you put that on your brushes, you are going to have brushes that are full of paint. And if you remember to take and rinse them off, you're gonna be okay, but otherwise, you're gonna not be so okay. So, let's start with this one. A little paint right here. And choose whatever color you like, but you're gonna start to see the various textures show up. And just get a beginning picture of that. And what will help you in your efforts to do this is to actually have your paper towel damp and put your paint on there. And I've got something called acrylic gel medium, again, sort of like professional Elmer's glue. And if you mix that, good thing we've got the gripper here. There we go. If you mix that with your paint, it'll move a little bit better. So why don't you go ahead and take some of that. And we've all got the same paint colors today. So obviously mix them. All right, that'll make the paint go a little faster.
She has two down there. I gave everybody two, you just took mine.
I'm sorry, that's all right. The blue? Well, I went with the blue, but you're not gonna do this on the one that you have just banged up. You're gonna use one of these. Why don't you pass that around? Because the ones you've just banged up are not gonna have as much texture as the ones that we have already applied the spray paint or aerosol to. So, just take one of those and actually do your painting on one of those. And that's fine, you've got enough there. Okay. And,
What do we have?
what's that? Okay, the paint, set aside the one that you did. This is gonna be yours. These are our practice ones.
Oh, these
Yep.
are our practice ones.
These are our practice ones. All right.
Oh, yeah,
let's
put
do
all
that.
that stuff on there again?
No, now you're gonna do paint and medium.
Oh. How much are you doing?
You're fine right there. Yeah. And you're going to do more than one layer.
Don't we need some kind of,
There is a design in there. What you're looking at is what was created by poking all the various things into the styrofoam meat tray and then spraying a little hairspray or spray paint or something like that.
So do we cover all of the edges? Is that?
You do not have to cover the edges. And you will go over this more than once.
oh, the whole thing, right?
You put holes in your.
Yep, but don't worry if
No.
you see
You're
open
supposed to take one of
spaces.
these to use. This
So
is
do
a
we put
practice.
this on first and then
And then,
that,
Mix
This is
that
just
with
a
your
practice.
paint.
mix it with it?
Use
Mhm.
one of these.
and then what do you do with it?
You
Put
can
your-
actually put that
We'll set these aside for today.
on the,
And
let's see
then
here.
put a little water
Word your practice
and
on
dump
it.
a little of your
Here we
paint
go.
with paint or whatever color
Put
you
this on
want.
here.
And then dump a little of that.
And this is the white one?
Here.
And that's at the
See
end.
that empty one there?
Little squirt of that, and then a little
Okay.
squirt of blue.
Okay, and then we'll squirt up that.
That's an empty one. Use that for your paint. That'll be a little easier. Okay.
Oh, I should put my paint on there.
Oh, well, acrylic paint dries quickly. It's like glue. And because it dries quickly, that's why I suggested putting it on a wet paper towel.
We'll just spray them
Just to get you going there.
And then just mix it.
Okay,
mix it all
so,
there.
Yeah, you can just mix it.
So when you
with
do
your
one
finger.
color, then do another color, or let
yes, go right ahead and do another color.
right away?
Yep,
Take
don't
the
have to
yellow.
wait.
Yep, and mix the yellow in with the
Yeah,
medium
put that-
there.
Take a little bit of
Yeah.
yellow and then the white.
Yeah, and that's fine, and It'll start to fill in, okay. So not very pretty yet, but suppose we take a little iridescent white.
Oh, mix it up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me get my finger out. Do you want me
Yeah.
to put it on there?
Sure.
I'll share.
You want the glue and the paint mixed together?
Now,
Mix two together.
Yeah, that's it.
when you start getting more than one paint color in here, you can start to try and
Well, on
force
here.
the design to show up a little more. Like, for instance, a minute ago, you
Yeah,
couldn't
mix
really
it here,
see
and then over here.
these stripes on the edge. Now they're coming through. So, I don't know if you can see that yet. But this is a project that you play with for a while, and it can actually be sort of addicting. You start filling in, and then you add a color, and then you add another color, and you get more and more layers. And then you can choose to highlight certain areas as you go along. So, let's see here.
I just put that on my colors.
How hard to get the blue off in order to get the different color?
Don't worry about it, because it's gonna mix.
It's drying.
It's just gonna mix. That's why we don't have a lot of colors. We won't get into trouble with just a few colors. I promise. All right. So I had little indents here from the corn pick, and choosing to make those stand out a little bit. And you can also make sure that you go along the outside edge at some point, early on or later, and get that outside edge coated. So you can see what I'm doing there. Because you want that edge coated, you want it to look finished, you don't really want that meat tray look right on the outside edge. So when you do that, you've got the red and the blue, you're gonna get purple. Just what shade of purple depends on how much red and how much blue you go with. This is a case where you definitely want not a lot of different colors. You will get into trouble, you'll get a very muddy result if you have too many different colors.
I just have to have more paper colors.
Oh, look at this. Now, do I dare pick this up? Why don't you hold yours up and just show him? Look at that.
That's cool.
Let's see if you can get
That was on the
a
last.
close up. Yeah. So,
That's different.
there you go, very nice. Okay.
Very different.
It is different. So, and I am going to go with a little yellow at this point, I think.
I was just trying to decide. I should probably mark a little
I have the blue
on
one
the side.
There you go. Okay. So here's my yellow. I just thinned it out with just a dab of water, and by just dipping my finger right into the water.
So you didn't mix anything into the
Yeah.
yellow except for a dab of water?
Didn't mix anything but a dab of water, and because there was blue underneath, I ended up with green. Yellow and blue makes green. There's actually a book, and the title is something like Blue and Yellow Don't Make Green. I don't know, but it's a good book for artists. Because it talks about color mixing and how things work or don't work. Okay. So if your paint feels too thick, you can either dip your finger in the water or get some more of the acrylic gel medium, and you can take that around if people want it.
Yeah, I can put them in.
Try and get some variety in your color. You can also do this by painting the whole thing black.
More than I need.
And then coming back and just trying to highlight just a little bit with a lighter color. So, let's see here. Red.
Time to apply another color.
Yes, I'd fill in all the black.
We've got 3 pretty common colors. We've got ultramarine blue, Hansa yellow light, and quinacridone red. And you do want to test your colors and see that they look nice together. And that's helpful because there are warm reds and there are cool reds and there are warm yellows and cool yellows. And sometimes when you mix a warm and a cool, it's not as attractive. So. Okay, let's see here. Who needs paint?
Love paint.
Well, fortunately, we do have a sink.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so let's see here. You can get to a point where you actually take paper towel and then rub a little off and see what you get. And that can make certain little indents or raised areas stand out a little more. So at this point,
Does this want to wash off?
it will wash off, but it's going to wash off just like Elmer's glue washes off, where it kind of peels off. It's a little tricky that way. Okay.
So take our paper towel and
I
kind
want
of.
to get your sides too.
If you want, if you want, but try it gently and try rubbing off a little bit
Yes, just all the way around.
And any color.
and see
Yeah.
how you like it.
Yes.
You can always go back and play with this and add more. And they do end up being really interesting as a group. Okay. So where are we at? What do you think? More blue?
Yours actually looks like a scene.
Totally by accident. Okay, so I'm gonna go back in here and emphasize that blue.
Not clean, but for now.
And put a little in the corner there. And what do we think? A little more over here. Okay, so what you probably can't see on the TV is that there are some little lines in here that are kind of interesting. And that's what I'm trying to follow and trying to pick up on that a little bit. Now, when you get to where you think you might be done, this teeny little dab, and you might pick up those lines with not a lot of paint, but just a little bit. So, there, it's picking up a little bit.
You mean the ones where you can't get in there?
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Okay. We're gonna probably stop with that. Okay, maybe not. This is where it's helpful when I have my sister who says, stop, stop. So if you do this using all natural colors, browns and grays. You can make it look like a natural stone piece. We've kind of pumped it up for color. So that's not what we're getting. Now I'm liking that a little bit better. And checking that I've got something around the edges here. I don't want my meat tray showing through.
The idea is to kind of smudge it around.
It is, yeah. So I'm stopping right here, and we'll lay this like so. And when we get a few more done, we're gonna put them together and you'll see how they work together. These are nice to do in a collage, so like a set of 3 together, or maybe in a square to have 1, 2, 3, 4, makes a nice look.
Am I done or am should I?
I think you're done, yeah. So those of us who are done are gonna take a minute to wash our hands.
Yeah. We are.
Yep.
No, they don't have fun. Oh.
I like that. You probably want this one. Yeah.
Really good. It's a little warm. There you go. No.
Across?
We're good.
Okay. So how are we doing? Oh, nice. Yeah. Wait until you see them all together.
They will be
Yeah.
good.
Yes, they will. Yeah.
Like the circles.
And that's
All
fine.
different.
That's fine. They are. Okay. How are we doing? Let's lay these out all together. And help the folks at home to see. Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's kind of not, believe it or not.
So are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get that one out there too.
Giving it all.
That's okay. Thank you. Okay.
Is it?
So you could actually take those and frame them as a group and have one long strip. And if you were to do this, you would mat it, but in between, you gotta put some little spacer in between the mat and the background that you're framing it in. And you can buy double stick tape that has a little bit of foam. It's something that people who do stamp, crafts, card making, stamping, those kinds of things. And you can get that, and that'll give you a little bit of a layer, and that'll account for the thickness of the tile. And then you can also just put them on with double stick tape. That's all it needs. They're very lightweight. These are a few that I did before, and you can see that's got some metallic paint. And I had a little white metallic in mine that got mixed with the blue. I do have some gold metallic. If anybody wanted to add that, they could. So, not unusual to have it finish and then go back and say, like a little more light or like a little more dark. And you could do that. You can paint the whole thing completely solid and start over if you want. So, they really are fun when you get going. So the next project we're going to do is a little bit the same and a little bit different.
Same but different.
Okay, yeah, so if you haven't yet washed your hands, you might want to do that. And I've got some samples to show the process. And this too, we're going to be doing the basic prep, and then we're going to actually have to wait for these to dry and work on these at the next class meeting. So, we'll wait a second. So this is, as I said, it's kind of the same idea and a different idea. And that is, we have taken regular watercolor paper and the acrylic gel medium, which again is just a fancy Elmer's glue. I don't suppose the folks who sell it would appreciate me describing it that way. But that's the same general idea. Okay, so this one I have done. And there's a lot of little textured things in here. We're gonna let this sit for just a second while I show you.
Is there black in there again?
No, not in there. And that, actually, this
Oh,
is,
there is
we're
way
actually,
down the bottom there.
yeah, but this is actually a different project. So we can actually take this chunk away. So, sorry. Okay. So, now you're going to take your watercolor paper. Everybody's got 2 pieces of watercolor paper. On that paper, we're gonna put a thick acrylic gel medium. This is called Heavy Gel Gloss. And there you go.
Just with our
And there's
fingers?
another. And what you do is take your knife. I'm gonna borrow a couple, or at least one. Okay. And your piece of paper. And you literally
Lather it on.
blather it on. Yep. And you cover the whole paper. So we're gonna need more.
And that's called, what is that called?
It's acrylic gel medium, but this is a heavy gel.
Okay.
And it's like Elmer's glue, but this is thicker and it is a more professional makeup, more intended for artists. So you want this,
Is this the same thing?
Yes.
you want this to be somewhat thick because you want things to show up when you press them into it. So you'll remember last week that we pressed in some saran wrap, and you could do that with this, and you could get the same scrunchy, crevicey look. You could take a jar grip and put that in and get an interesting texture.
You want this as smooth as possible, or what?
No, not smooth. No, just layered on, kind of like icing a cake. Maybe not quite that thick. Your little honey roller thing, you could roll right through there, make a line, take a popsicle stick and break it, and get an interesting little broken thing going on there, and put that in, kind of chicken feet look. Yep, we can use our
I can
masher
use
again.
this gel at the same time.
And I'm gonna lay it kind of on its side here. And that's that one. What else have we got? Oh, we've got our picks and our corn pick. So here, a fork will work, just little lines. And I'm gonna use this to make little dots. And that's what we're doing. So that's really as far as you're going to take it today. But what we will do is let these dry and come back to that next week. I don't know if you can see the texture or the patterns, but you'll be able to see it next week. So we'll lay that over here to dry. And then today we'll work on the samples that I brought. And I was just putting black on this, so these are all finished versions of what we're doing right now. And grab a little paper towel. And in this case with the black, I'm actually going to rub some of it off. And I can't see too much of my hands there. you'll get a black and white image. There's a photographer in the area that does all black and white pictures like this. And that's where I got the idea. I thought, how can you do this with paint? Looks interesting, but how do you do it with paint? So.
And the honey one. No.
So you start to see
The gripper, the grip thing, the
texture
green one.
coming through.
Thank you, thank you.
And you can actually wait until it's dry and take a sponge to it and get some of the top edges off with the sponge, if you like.
So this here is that?
This is, but you don't have to do it with black.
You
You
don't
can,
have one.
oh, I do.
Here.
Yeah, I'll pour you some if you want it.
There's glue on there, I don't know.
Okay, so here's an example. We could take off more of the black and get a stronger black and white combination if we like. But let's try some other colors too. So,
You wanna try this?
sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna
So who's ready to
mine.
do-
I tried to wipe it off.
Maybe,
I
are you?
will.
Okay.
This isn't done, but I'll.
So there's
okay.
one.
So, just a base color,
Yeah, and you can do layers of paint, just like you did here.
just.
You could even try to make it look just like what you did there. It'd be interesting to try that. And just follow the same color idea on that piece of paper and just see what happens.
So we apply with our hand,
Yes, same thing with our hands.
any color we want.
Yep, and
Any
I'm
color you
gonna,
want?
yep. And we're gonna have to share on these little ones. Anybody want big or little?
Oh, I wasn't supposed to do it on this?
No, it has to dry.
Oops.
Yep, the piece you got there has to dry. So there you go.
I
So
could
this
probably
is
get
a-
it off.
It's fine, just leave it.
So is this with a toothbrush?
No,
That's not.
no, the image there was actually done with a little cup, and I just went boop, 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 boop with the
Oh,
cup.
really?
Yeah.
Now we
So-
put color on here.
Okay,
No,
no,
don't do
okay,
that.
let's
That's
stop.
what I
Okay,
did.
okay. This is a project that needs to dry. So what we were doing right now was step one.
So that has to dry.
Right, so you are putting the layer of the acrylic gel medium on, and you're putting art items into it to create a textured surface.
Yeah,
And then you stop,
okay.
and we wait for that piece to dry. But since that took about 3 minutes, and we have more time than
Thing.
that, I figured you
Anything.
would like to actually try to test it out and see what happens. So that's why I prepared some extra surfaces last night, so that you could actually work on one and see how it goes.
Okay.
So you could take this one, if you wanted a bigger one, and start with, just go over the black and put a different color on top. See what you get if you'd rather do that.
I don't care.
Okay. There, and that's your finish. So actually, let's put these away,
So now we need
the wet
to
ones.
do one color of the whole thing. Right?
You do not have to follow that rule, you can put more
Do
than one
whatever you
color.
want.
Yep, more than one color.
Just a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, better probably put it there so it doesn't get bumped in the meantime.
Do I have two of these? And
You
she-
do have two. And yeah, I cut them in half to make it go around, and then I thought, I'll just give her the one I had started on, so.
Now, with our color, we don't add anything to it, we just use the color.
Go ahead and put any color and mix any color. You've got, with you right there, you've got 3 colors, a blue, yellow, and a red. If you want a black, I've got black here. But just go ahead, what you need to do is see what's on the page.
Yeah.
And so I might say, start with a yellow, and that's fairly light, and that will show you where the lines are. And then go ahead and add as you wish. And I'm gonna take your wet version here. That's great, that's got a lot of nice texture.
Oh, you put these little pepper things on?
No, that's just the way it was.
Oh, you leave it
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
You can leave them.
There are several kinds of acrylic gel medium, and what we're using today is
Oh, that's nice.
heavy gel gloss, and it's thick. It's consistency of, what would you say? Buttercream frosting, maybe. Since we're in the kitchen, that's good comparison. And there are other kinds of acrylic gel medium. There's a tar gel that creates a real stringy, interesting look. There's glass beads in gel. There's a coarse, kind of a fibrous looking gel that you could use. Sandpapery looks. There's a little black pepper kind of look, they're calling it, because there was a little of that. In fact, I'll show you. Excuse me. This little black and white peppery look, that was from a different gel that had gotten mixed in with the jar. So that's actually two different kinds of gel there. And all of these things have slightly different characteristics, and they're fun to play with. You can mix things yourself in if you wish, but like a lot of things, it gets expensive, and so the heavy gel gloss is just a good basic one, because you can then add the texture with the various things you might find in the kitchen.
Can you
Yes.
use the gold in here?
Sure.
I'd like to have a little gold.
Yeah, oh, that's looking nice. Okay, so there's a little gold for you. And while they're working, one of the characteristics of the acrylic paint, again, it dries quickly. And that's great for some techniques, and it makes it easier, but it's a different kind of thinking than working with watercolors. So it's just like anything else, you're using a different tool and a different result. The colors are more vibrant, your hands are a lot messier, and when you get this on your clothes, you need to wash right away to get that off your clothes, because it won't wash out like a watercolor will. It will dry like a rock, and it'll be with you forever. That's true. And likewise, if it gets on your table or something, it'll scrub off with a sponge. But it's a different characteristic, and it's just good to know that when you're working with a different product. So show them what you got there. So look at that.
Kindergarten.
No! It's the same
fun.
kind of thing. If we put a group of them together, what makes it interesting is color and repetition. And if you look at this, this is behind us, this is a painting we did in one of our first classes. And that's done kind of a takeoff on Wassily Kandinsky, who's a Russian abstract painter. And all we did here was make little circles. So you could say, oh, that's kindergarten. But when we put it together, the repetition and the color make it interesting. And that's what's going to happen with the pieces that we're doing today.
I think I'm done with that.
Yes, you are. Look at this.
Oh,
Look at
one's
that.
pretty.
Very nice. Yeah. So what she did was follow some of the texture in the painting. This circular thing was a tool that there it is. Yeah. The circular texture that she had here was made using this. And then this line here was made using one of the knives. So that's how we got there.
I have a little gold left on that palette if anyone would like to use it.
Okay.
I would.
This one actually was a stamp, this spiral, and it was a rubber stamp sprayed with the spray paint and then put onto this, and that's how that worked. It actually indented into the styrofoam because of the spray paint on it. It just reacts with the styrofoam. So that's really nice. Okay. Oh, look at that. That's really nice.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, okay. Here, look at Ida's.
Yeah, Yeah.
That's a great
And
one.
that little.
So are you
in the
done?
middle there.
Okay, I'm gonna lay this down here with the rest, if that's okay with you.
Help yourself.
That is all?
There you go. Thank you.
Okay. So, and how about you?
Should we wash these off?
Yes. This paint you can't save. It's not like watercolor paint. When you're done, it goes down the drain. Yeah. It's not going to work. It'll
We're not gonna do
get
any
hard.
more.
No,
Oh, it's only 3 o'clock.
it's quick. Because next time we'll take the pieces that we made and do your own work. Today you were working on my little sample pre-prepped pieces.
Do you need these then, did you say?
Yes, save
Wash
them.
them up and put them in
And
the.
actually put your name on the back.
Okay.
And then we will work on those next week, and then we'll put these together at the end of a class, and you can see how it all works together. So I think that's about it for today, and we're really glad you joined us for Kitchen Art at the Verona Senior Center. Thank you.
You're welcome.